But anyway, let's talk about this game between the Commanders versus the Patriots. New England is a 3.5 point favorite into winning this one. Washington came off a really disappointing loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, despite the fact that the Eagles were 6.5 point favorites and they beat them early at Lincoln Financial Field 34-31. What who do you have winning this one? I actually have the Commanders. Believe it or not, I actually have the Commanders winning this one because I think Mac Jones has been struggling this season. Bill Belichick, I've said it before, he has not been the same without Tom Brady. Um, he's made some bad moves in the past, such as bringing in Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as offensive coordinators, and I think that has dipped the development with Mac Jones. Now, Mac Jones so far this season, he has his guy from Alabama, Bill O'Brien. We all know Bill O'Brien from Belichick and Nick Saban, of course. Mac Jones has been playing well these past couple of games against Dolphins and the Bills. But I think the Commanders have a good chance of winning this one because they're not the favorites. I don't believe their offensive line will do a better job protecting Sam Howell. They only allowed 1 sack in that game against the Eagles. So I do think Sam Howell's going to be sacked at least 3-4 times. But I think if Eric Bieniemy could prioritize running the football more, I think the Commanders stand a chance. What says you?
To be honest with you, I mean, now that Josh McDaniels out of a job, you think that New England's going to bring him back to be the offensive coordinator? That's a good question to ask as well. But I digress.
I told you he wasn't a head coach to begin with in the first place. We've seen coaches from the Belichick coaching tree that haven't panned out.
We've seen it. I think Bill O'Brien was the only one that even remotely panned out.
I mean, he had some seasons in Houston when they won the division, but it
was
it wasn't
bad
that great of
division.
a division. Yeah.
But I think the Commanders will win this game. You got a lot of key players out that are really hurt in New England.
Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, and Zuda, he's gone for the year.
Yeah.
And thus far Zeke has been a bust in New England as well. And I mean, once you lose your star quarterback like a Tom Brady, it's very, very hard to get a replacement in there. And I think people are expecting him to replace Tom Brady, and it's kind of impossible in order to do that. It's going to take, and Bill Belichick does have time. He just signed a lucrative deal at the start of the year, unbeknownst to all of us, but he has time in order to redeem himself without Tom Brady. But as far as this year is a wash. So I think the Commanders are going to win this one. But one thing Bill Belichick has to do, he has to put it in his mind, the Patriot way is over.
It is. The DYJ days is over. He can't. The problem with Belichick is it's kind of like a military approach. And look, Belichick, he's gonna have to get ahead with the times, and that's the problem with him. Another problem with Dabo Sweeney, coaches like that who've won and have had success will eventually be in the Hall of Fame. The problem with them now is that they haven't evolved with the times. They haven't gotten ahead with the times. Speaking more of the game, who do you think is going to be the X factor in this game? I think for me, the X factor is Brian Robinson. When he gets going, when he starts running the ball, I think he's definitely going to make an impact for the team and takes less pressure off of Sam Howell so that you don't have to heavily rely on him to throw the ball as much. If not, Brian Robinson, I think it's Jahan Dotson because he did play well last week against the Eagles, had over 100 yards and a TD. Who's your X factor in that game?
Brian Robinson, and I think Eric Bieniemy needs to get him involved in the short passing game a little bit more. And make him, if you're going to run the ball, if you're going to pass the ball like that, make Brian Robinson more of like a Roger Craig type of a player and make him use his strength, because once he gets into the secondary, it's pretty much over with. I don't think a DB wants to go head up with a Brian Robinson.